nay đến ngày 28 tháng 12 năm 2012, mua sân box Babylon nhận lúc nào trúng xe 19 xe Honda SH, 79 xe Way Alpha và hàng ngàn giải thưởng khác. Sơn box, hãy cùng yêu Việt Nam.
Chào mừng quý vị và các bạn đã cùng đến với chương trình Việt Nam trong tim tôi. Hiện nay thì Nguyên Khang đang có mặt tại Hoàng Thành, Thăng Long. Chúng ta sẽ cùng gặp gỡ một người phụ nữ nổi tiếng tại Hà Nội với tên gọi là bà Tây Di sản. Đó chính là bà Catherine Muller-Marin, trưởng đại diện của văn phòng UNESCO tại Việt Nam. Oh, hello, Miss Catherine.
Hi, Hang. How are you
I'm
doing?
Kang.
Yes,
How are you?
Kang, how are you doing?
This is
Hang. He's from our office.
He's
the officer in charge of the project that we have to assist Thăng Long Citadel. Yes.
So can I join your talk?
Yes, of course. Yes. Please join us. Yes.
It's very glad to meet you at the Thăng Long Citadel here. As I may know that you have a name of the heritage woman. Wow, very curious name.
Well, actually, that is an honor for me.
Yeah.
Because I am in love with heritage. It is one of my major priorities.
Yeah.
Yes, and the conservation of heritage, but also showing heritage to the world.
So I think that among you visited many heritage in Vietnam.
Yes.
Which are the most heritage make you?
That's not a good
impressive
question to ask me because I like them all. They're all very different and they're all very unique.
Yeah.
You know that we have cultural heritage, for example, like Thăng Long Citadel.
Yeah.
And then we have the natural heritage, like Phonyakiban and Halong Bay.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many wonders about it.
Yeah.
There's a mystery about it because a lot of what we see in heritage is about history, about the relationships, about the power of the people that lived here. Like when I walk into Thăng Long Citadel, I keep telling everybody who comes here, when you visit, you gotta come, you gotta close your eyes, and you got to imagine 1,000 years of powerful people making important decisions for Vietnam.
Yeah.
So it's got this mystery and it's got this beauty and the uniqueness and everything you learn about it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did UNESCO to join in this celebrating?
Well, actually, what's most important is that the celebration coincided with the inscription of the Royal Citadel as in the list of World Heritage. So the Director General of UNESCO came to hand over the certificate. We supported a lot of activities, but I think the most important was the handing over of the certificate and then the wonderful celebrations we had here at the Citadel. And it was amazing the number of people that just really came to see. And I think they've done a very, very good job. The Hanoi People's Committee has to be commended for the work they've done here. They have been very careful in the way that they have done the conservation. That, for example, the government of France gave some funding for the museum, and other governments have been supporting as well. And so the place is very, very well organized. And we as UNESCO, we continue providing support.
As a role of UNESCO, how can we help the people to be awareness about preservation of historical buildings?
Would you like to maybe share a little bit and then I'll complement?
Yes. So since it was inscribed on the World Heritage List, we try to help the Thăng Long Center to build a management plan.
Yes, it's most important.
So it's very important. So I'm very happy that last week also we have we designed with the Thăng Long staff the action plan, which will implement the concrete activities written in the management plan. So how we do with the promotional activities, how we will study the socio-economic values of the site, the ecological values of the site. So that's
And of course, there's always a component of awareness raising, which is part of what we're working on when the tourist comes in here, the national tourist or the international tourist, that they can read the information and be able to really give value to it. But in general, we're also working at the national level in order to ensure that people really love these sites and love the heritage, and that they value it, and that they're careful with it. You know, we cannot break it, we cannot damage it, we cannot throw garbage. We need to really ensure that we are making conservation. But I think what's also very important is that UNESCO is working to ensure that the people who live in and around the site can actually continue having a good livelihood and can actually benefit also from the income that comes to these sites, right? So there should be community participation in the process of the planning, and in we have, for example, developed for Quang Nam province, we've developed a model strategy for participating the community in the planning of tourism development. So those are all elements that I really treasure a lot, because it's about making sure that the next generations can come here and they can still remember the kings and the queens. And we actually, together with the culture sector in our office, we've done a lot of activities with children. Together with Panasonic, for example, we had a big event here. So it's bringing them so that they can remember, and that they can also know that heritage is not only what is here. Heritage, for example, is the way that you're dressed, right? Of course, you've done a really good combination about modernity with that nice hairdo and the clothing. But heritage is about your grandfather's pipe. It's about your grandmother's books. Heritage is there in our daily life. We just sometimes forget to value that, right? And I think we need to learn to live with heritage. There's like a sort of a mystery of where do we come from, you know? And how did those generations evolve? And wonderful things like how were these things built at the time they were built. You go to Tanhua and you can't even imagine how they rolled those stones and put them together in with such perfection. You know, you're just amazed, right? And that happens, you can see that in other countries of the world as well. So I think this is a very important thing to raise the awareness of the community. And for the Vietnamese, culture is really, really an important contributor to development.
We are standing three gates.
Yes.
Three gates here in Thăng Long City House. Do you know that what is the difference between this gate and this gate?
Yes, definitely. So this gate, the importance of this gate is because it was the gate for the king. So normally you had one gate for the king, and then you had the other gates for the mandarins, right? And then the other gates, I understand, was for the civil servants, the high-level civil servants. Is that correct? Is that how it is here too? Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So do I need to go back again? Just kidding.
Oh, because you're the king? Maybe you should.
But do we have to face up with any difficulty in preservation?
Yes, definitely. Because when you have an excess of tourism, you have an excess of development, you know, and a lot of hotels, a lot of businesses, and everybody, of course, wants to benefit, right? So there has to be a balance between development and conservation. Because if, for example, you're contaminating all the time the waters or the rivers or the land, there's going to be a moment when the tourist just doesn't want to come anymore, right? And if that happens, then you diminish the income, and then the people who live around there are going to have prejudice, right? So we need to make sure that the site is preserved, that it's conserved, that there's adequate treatment and information, that we're not selling things to the tourists at a very high cost so they don't want to come back. And what's most important is not just thinking about how many tourists came, but actually saying how many of these tourists came back. You
Yeah.
see? And how many times did they come back?
Yeah.
Right? Because, and who else did they recommend to come?
Yeah.
Right? Because that is what we call sustainability,
Yeah.
which means that for the future, it's going to continue as long as you ensure
Yeah.
that the place is kept
Yeah.
in a way that people really want to come and see it.
Yeah. Okay, what is your wish, your expectation for all of the heritage in Vietnam?
Oh wow, I have high expectations.
Yeah.
The first one is that these heritage of Vietnam become very, very well known and appreciated by people in all the world.
Yeah.
Because the way to nominate a site, to get it inscribed, is a lot of work. It requires scientific research, it requires analysis, it requires several countries that come together, over 20 countries that sit together to analyze the nomination file. So really it's a lot of work to get a site inscribed and to keep it conserved. So we really want a lot of people to come and to be aware of it and to see it, but that they should come in a very organized way, and that we can control the level of tourism, so and the quality of the tourist. The tourist that comes back several times, the tourist that contributes to the conservation, right? So that is one of the high expectations. The other expectation is that the Vietnamese people really, really learn to live the love that they should have for their heritage sites. You know, that they can really enjoy them, that they can take their children to know about them, to learn about them, that the youth gets really connected, becomes really connected. That is already happening in Vietnam, and we just don't want that to be lost. That is another high expectation. I also have an expectation in terms of research, in terms of excavation. You know, it requires funding, and it requires a lot of effort, and it requires many years. The whole excavation process, you know, when they're using these little brushes and the carrying and having to dig something out with so carefulness, you know. So I do hope that there can be some better investment, more investment, and more cooperation from different countries towards the different local governments who are responsible for this. Yes.
Thank you very much for sharing with me all of the information about the story. Before we finish the programs, do you want to share anything to the viewers?
Yes, definitely. I would like to say Vietnam, trong, tim, toi.
Việt Nam trong tim tôi. Good Vietnamese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I will try
learning.
to follow
I'm
you.
learning.
Thank you,
Okay, good to
thank you,
see you
Mr.
then.
Catherine.
Okay,
Thank you,
okay.
Mr. Khánh. Quý vị thân mến, như vậy là chúng ta cũng vừa lắng nghe cuộc chuyện trò của bài Tây di sản với niềm yêu, niềm đam mê mãnh liệt đối với việc bảo tồn những di sản văn hóa của Việt Nam. Và chúng ta sẽ còn lắng nghe được những điều thú vị hơn nữa ở phần tiếp theo của chương trình. Còn bây giờ, Nguyên Khang cùng với lại những vị khách mời của chúng ta xin chào và hẹn gặp lại của số lần sau.
Xin chào.
Sơn Boss, hãy cùng yêu Việt Nam.